This is Randall Ham, host of the Sunday Morning Gospel Show, with a very special artist spotlight this morning, spotlighting a group that was a very much an integral part of the beginning of gospel music, along with the Spear family and many other classic groups, talking about Uncle Alf, Urias, Eva Mae, Pierce, and Mylon as well. The LeFevre name goes back a number of years, based out of the Atlanta, Georgia area, and I'm looking at a long line of folks that have been in the LeFevres or are relatives of the LeFevres, and they've all sang in various forms of the LeFevre group. We're going to start with the two members who were in a... You said it, Ron. I didn't. We're speaking with Ron Daly and Barbara Hodge Roach, who sang with Uncle Alf, Urias, and Eva Mae in the early 70s version of LeFevres. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning, Randall. Good to talk to you this morning.
And Ron?
Randall, good to be here.
All righty. Main question is, how many years were you two with Uncle Alf, Urias, and Eva Mae in the 70s group?
I was there only a couple years.
Yeah, we worked together with them about a year.
Yeah.
Ron and I did.
1971, 72? 72.
Yeah.
And you were on the album that had probably the biggest hit of the LeFevres, I've Come Too Far to Look Back.
Around, don't look back again. Face the new day before you. Place your heartaches in my Jesus' hand. He can mend broken dreams. I've come too far to look back. My feet have walked through the valley. I've climbed mountains, crossed rivers, desert places I've known, but I'm nearing the home shore. The redeemed are rejoicing. Heaven's angels are singing. I've come too far to look back. Too far to.
Actually, the album that I'm on, I think Ron got to be on two different ones.
Yes, I did.
But he was on it. But the album the last one that we're on, our pictures aren't on there. Because when you leave a group, they put new pictures on there.
Right.
They airbrush you out. No.
We had a blast traveling back then. And Ron Daly, the Ron Daly, has not changed a bit in 40 years. He is still as crazy now as he was back then.
Tell us about the appearance on the Porter Wagner show. How cool was that?
That was pretty cool, because Dolly Parton was there. I don't know this Porter guy you're talking about. I don't know.
I know somebody else who was there too, and you don't remember that, but Bob Harrington was
that's right,
there.
Bob Bourbon Street Preacher.
Yes.
It was great. It was fun.
It was a
lot
great
of fun.
show. Great
See, we
show.
had done a fair with him in Ohio,
Uh-huh.
and then they invited us to the show. So it was kind of we enjoyed that outdoor deal with them, and then they invited us to the show. So it was
We got
fun.
to go on Porter Wagner's bus and
Yes.
tour all that when we were in Ohio. Yeah.
I tried to talk him out of a couple of these suits, and he wouldn't do it. Like
I'd love to have one of those suits.
it was a fun time.
And we're going to move back here to the next batch of LeFevres. By 1976, everybody had retired, including Eva Mae, turned the group over to Rex Nealon and eventually became the Nealons. But Uncle Alf, decided he still wanted to get out and sing and do some dates. You sang with Uncle Alf's new group. You were speaking with?
My name's Rick Campbell.
To an altar, I knelt down to pray. I felt the Holy Spirit come down my way. Well, my soul began to tremble, and the joy began to roll. Let me tell you about Jesus, how he gladly saved my soul.
I did. It started out as the Alf The LeFevres Singers, and then it later turned. Rex Nealon kept the name for 5 years, and then after 5 years, he gave the name back to Uncle Alf, and he called it Uncle Alf The LeFevres, and his last album was actually called The LeFevres, but it had his daughter Marla his son Scott. It also featured at one point Karen Peck. What's the guy who was with the Crab Family? Mike Bowling and Michelle Davis, and I got to be a part of that group. So I'm
a lot of gospel music talent passed through that group.
They did. Uncle Alf was a genius. I would have told these guys that if I got a part wrong, I couldn't slip it by. He would hear it, and he'd put me on the bus that morning, or as soon as that concert was over. And until I got that part right, he would make me sit beside that big old chair in the lobby of that bus until I got it right. There was no room for error with him.
So what was it like working with Uncle Alf?
He was a gentle genius. He was never overpowering. He was kind. He was probably the ultimate or one of the finest Christians I've ever met. I didn't just work with him. I lived with him. Barbara lived with Eva Mae, and I lived with Uncle Alf, and I got to see what he was like in his home life. One of the finest men I've ever known in my life.
One thing that Uncle Alf did was he would tune the piano
Wherever we went.
before the program. You know, now everybody has keyboards and all that kind of thing, but back then, you didn't know what kind of piano you was going to run into.
And you're talking to Mark Fuller.
And so he would tune the piano before the program. And another thing about Uncle Alf was he didn't only teach you your part by singing it to you, he would write it down on paper. You know, I think a lot of people didn't realize what a genius he really was. Don't you agree? Or y'all know?
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he just loves you.